Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Kid Lee. Let's talk about the possibility of a new character class coming to Star Wars: The Old Republic and exactly how they would do it. So Star Wars: The Old Republic has been out for a little over 3 years, and up until this point we have not really seen any sign from the developers that they plan on adding a new class. Now let's take a look at some of the competition. Of course, the elephant in the room is going to be World of Warcraft. Since launch, they have added 2 new classes. If we go a little bit more local and actually look at some games that are a little bit closer to Star Wars, we could look at Terra Online. They have added, or will add, 2 new classes to the game. They have added the Reaper class, and then they just recently announced a new Gunner class. So that's going to be 2. We've got Guild Wars 2. They have their new expansion coming out, which is Heart of Thorns, where they are introducing a new class, and in that game they call it Professions. And then we've got Lord of the Rings Online, where they introduced a new class, which is this Shapeshifter. Now, it should be noted that adding a new class into Star Wars: The Old Republic is definitely much more difficult than it is in the previously mentioned games, because of all of the additional cutscenes, the dialogue, and all of that extra voice recording that has to go into a new class for this game. With that being said, I do believe it is time to add a new class into this game. Adding a new class would add a little bit of a spark to the game. It would bring more players in, and it would bring a new dynamic to both PvE and PvP. But the question is how would they do it? What options would we have? And I believe there are 2 ways of doing it. There's an easy way of doing it, and there's a hard way of doing it. And I'll explain what I mean by that. So basically, my first thought is, okay, you're going to add a new class to this game. What's it going to be? The easy path for them to choose would be to make an Imperial soldier and a Republic agent. You've already got all of the weapons in game, so it's not like if they're making a brand new class from scratch, you're not having to go through all the loot tables and all this stuff to completely make all new weapons. Pistols, rifles, assault cannons, all that stuff is already in game, so that would save them a step. As far as a potential starting area, an idea that I had was you could actually make the first ever sort of interactive cross storylines. And what I mean by that is, let's take the Trooper as an example. Even if they did make an Imperial Trooper, still have them start on Ort Mantell. Have them go through that storyline. And minor spoiler here if you haven't played a Trooper, but near the end of Ort Mantell, there is basically a scene where the current members of Havoc Squad are defecting to the Empire. They could basically change up that scene right there and give you the choice. Do you go with your so-called friends and join the Empire? Or do you say, no, this is wrong, I'm staying with the Republic? So right there's the choice. Do you become a Republic trooper or an Imperial trooper? So let's say you decide to join the Imperial side. Okay, you're now with Havoc Squad and you're off on the Imperial side. They'll send you to Drummond Cost for your first mission. And the overall story for this Imperial trooper could actually be a reflection of the Republic trooper. You're having to deal with the other members of Havoc Squad actually being killed and captured, and how that is going to change how things turn out for you. For the Republic agent, we've already got the SIS set up. We know that Theron Shan is a major player, so they could somehow use him as a mentor. But again, we could start the agents on Hutta, and they could work in some sort of storyline to where you're actually a double agent on that mission working for the Republic. So they throw in some kind of a choice there on whether or not you end up defecting to the Empire or the Republic, or vice versa. So let's go away from that path, which again I considered the easy path, and let's go over to the hard path, which is indeed creating a completely new class from scratch. New weapons, new identity, new everything. For this one, I actually went back to the old Star Wars Galaxies a little bit, because that game had a little over 20-ish classes. So I thought, what classes could we potentially pull from that game, or pull from the Star Wars universe in general, that would fit into this game? I think it would almost have to be another melee class of some description, because I can't think off the top of my head of any good range classes that would fit in with what we already have. So as far as potential melee classes, the one that sticks out would be some kind of a Terra-Kasai. You know, a real melee fighters, and they use the little vibro blades across their knuckles, or the knuckle busters, that kind of stuff. Or the other potential thing that I came up with would be some kind of a pike or polearm type class. So again, if they went with something like that, I mean, we're talking almost a new starting planet, new starting zones, a ton of new weapons they would have to put in the game across the entire thing. So that would take a lot more work on their end to complete something like that, compared to the easier path that I mentioned before. The reason why I bring all of this up is because of Fallen Empire. We know that BioWare has a big announcement coming for this game at E3. It's been several years since Star Wars The Old Republic was really featured at the EA press event. So I think something really big is going to happen this year. A new character class along with this Fallen Empire expansion is a strong possibility. So I wanted to get everybody's mindset sort of thinking about this. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this subject, so please leave a comment below. Do you think the game needs a new class? And if so, which one would you choose? That, ladies and gentlemen, will go ahead and do it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. And with that being said, everybody keep playing and have fun.